Hi, Tuccis. It's Rory.
And D-Money.
Two good Tuccis ready to talk iconic friendships of film and television. This week, we are discussing and dissecting Cher, Dionne, and Ty from the 1995 film Clueless.
And just as a reminder, a good Tucci is a friend that has got your back no matter what, just like Stanley Tucci in every movie role ever. And Stanley Tucci, if you're listening, I cannot wait to get into this week. This is what, our first threesome? Hmm?
We're just gonna skip right over the nature call. The Your mating call? That's what's happening here? Your little call
Yeah.
to Tucci? I support this
Uh-huh.
message. Is this
I'm
our first
I dressed for
threesome?
the occasion.
You did. Of
hmm
course.
It's in
Classic.
1995, and I said, ugh, I got you.
You do. You remember it well, I presume.
Kind of.
Oh, okay. What were you doing in 1995?
I think getting ready to go to first grade.
I would have been a casual 1 year old. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so
Oh,
much.
easy me.
So I imagine neither of us really got into this film until a few years after its
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
release.
yeah.
It took us a
Like the
moment.
appreciation. Yeah, I wasn't like Alicia Silverstone, stand house down, boots, mama.
Oh, but no, but we can look and we can appreciate because that's especially at the time, Miss Silverstone was stoning about and she was doing the things.
Oh my goodness, just to be that age and have this much writing on your shoulders, and she just
Hello.
carried it like bebe.
Just this little baby. No
Mm.
problem. Third baby. Like it's just nothing.
Eat.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
she's got it. We got Alicia Silverstone. We got Brittany Murphy. Love, love, love. And Stacey Dash. It goes on. We've got Mr. Paul Rudd.
Paul
Hello,
Rudd, yeah.
sir.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much. Loving, loving. I love when the
Huh.
older movies, like, I guess we look at them now and we kind of realize because, and maybe at the time they weren't the stars that they are today, but then we can look back and be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, she really had the cast. She had a star studded cast and it wasn't even meant to be like that. They just lucked out. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
here really did some things. Mr. Rudd, hi, how are you?
They were blooming.
Just like Tucci, you can call me anytime. Get your blooming. Aw, Theodore. Bloom. Oh.
um, yeah, the cast was definitely young. Also, too, what's his name? Oh my God, the one from Scrubs. Because I was gonna say like they all like had like went on to have careers after this.
Donald Faison. Mr. Donald Faison, how are you?
Phase on.
Faison.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love. Good for you, gal.
I went
Get your
to a
face on.
panel at Comic-Con, and the thing with panels is like it'll be named one thing, but you show up and like it the conversation completely turns into another thing because if the moderator doesn't like keep it on track, it could like go off, and this show is a very good example of that.
Hello, thank you so much. Look at us.
Um, and so I show up to the panel. I forgot what it was for, but it was Donald Faison, Betty White, and William Shatner.
I'm in. I'm fully. Hello.
And
Why
so
not?
I was like, this is gonna be a good 45 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah.
They get you bitch first thing in the morning.
And just a
And so
panel.
like they talked, we watched, and like that's when Betty and William Shatner like they'd known each other forever, so like she was calling him Bill.
Oh. Oh,
And I was like,
Bill.
oh, all right, well, there we go.
Oh, they're
And
friendly.
then like the conversation turned into like zoos and how Betty feels that like there's like animal ambassadors and this and that. And I was like, all right, like again, like what was this panel named after?
We're
Maybe it
just
was like
taking
a
the
Nick at
scenic
Night
route.
panel or something, or a TV Land panel.
That
Because
tracks.
again, he's not on. I don't think he was there for Scrubs. I forgot what other show Donald was on. Because she was
A
there for
few.
like Hot in Cleveland,
Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
I forgot what like William Shatner was there for.
I mean, again, like the list goes on for all of them. Who
Hmm
knows at this point? No, I'm fully into
Yeah.
that. That just us. If we had a moderator, could you imagine? If we had someone even attempting to keep us on track, good luck,
Oh
Al.
yeah.
That's all I'll
Oh
say.
right.
Good luck.
So yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get when you end up at those panels. But for this movie, as many times as I've watched it, I think I know I'm going to get.
I'm pretty confident. There were not many surprises. And let me say, I mean, for our culture, for our people, for you and I and me and Mises, she's a staple.
Oh
She's
yeah,
familiar.
definitely in the rotation.
Hmm.
It's not like, oh, it's Christmas, we need to watch this movie or whatever, and we only watch it that time of year. No,
She's in constant
this
rotation.
this is like a Mean Girls.
Uh
This
huh.
is like it's thrown in there.
She's a rainy day
Um,
movie. She's an everything movie.
I wasn't surprised by anything, but looking at it, like hyper focused on the Tucciship, I did notice some things, and
Sure.
also like some things that I've like learned along the way in my life, and kind of looked at it under like the guise of
Personal.
that.
Uh huh.
I don't want to get too much into it, but like Dionne and Cher, like the line in the beginning, she was like, "We're both friends because like we understand what it's like to be named after superstars who do infomercials of the past."
Oh yes, 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 yes,
But
yes.
like, if really that's the basis of the friendship, like, girl.
You're sharing a
But
name common ship.
but
Yeah.
then like, I've heard that like high society, like the friendships are very topical. They don't want to get too deep. They don't want to get messy with each other. So like everything is like very surface. Like when you go over to somebody's house, like you don't ask for a drink, like you don't like unless you're served it. Like you don't want to
Yes.
impose on the person that is hosting you or entertaining you. But
And
like if you
maybe
came over, bitch, it's like go help yourself, like
I think
or
you so
what would you
much.
like?
Uh
Or
huh.
you know what I mean? And then let's sit down and let's like get into it. Like, do we need to cry? Do we need to laugh? Like, what's going to happen? But that's something different. But that's not
That's not
this
what we see
friendship.
here. And I don't know, outsider perspective looking in, when it comes to high society relationships, we'll say, and the way that those are presented, proposed, whatever, we see how these people tend to be with other people in general and with their own people and with their finances. So it seems very much like you want to put as little risk on the table as possible. The more I know about you, the more you know about me, the more likely this could go south. And one day, you might have something that I want or need from you or that you can offer me or vice versa. So it's like this weird investment of a relationship versus just having a Tucciship and having
Hmm.
a relationship and just being family. Because if you come to my house, if you were to be like, "Can I have a glass of water? Cups are over there. Water's in the fridge. Help yourself.
Hmm.
Have fun, gal. Have as much as you
But
like."
also too, like I can only imagine maybe their mindset of like everything is an investment. Maybe friendship is an investment too, because it is an expenditure. You're expending your energy, your time.
And sometimes your
So
money.
like if
Yeah,
you're always thinking of business or finance or whatever, it could apply to like the same type of deal.
yeah. No, I fully see, and we kind of see that even jumping around as we do a little later on when Cher is talking to one of the gentle fellows in this movie, and he's saying, me and her don't make sense. Me and
Oh yeah,
you,
yeah.
we make sense, and that's like a really good example of that. It's the name. He said, "Do you even know who my father is?" Like it is. That's all it's about. It's the name. It's the
Ellen.
brand. It's
Hmm.
the financial status. Like that's all that matters. And get over yourself. That's all I gotta say on that one. We can touch on
Hmm.
more of that later. But no, it
I can
is
touch on him right now because here he is.
lucky you, gal. Just went right on the heart. Oh, my heart. Right on my
My
heart.
Reba Hart.
Oh, oh. It is. Did you know we all had the popular kids in school, of course,
Yeah.
and you got to experience a few different audiences and a few different crowds, and you got to the different
Few different
lives.
schools. Well,
Uh huh.
not only did that, but like I got to experience like different popular kids.
That's where I was going. Did
Hmm.
you? What's the closest you ever had, or did you get a Cher Dion and Ty situation? Did you
What do you
did you
mean?
have did you have those kids at your school? Were you in a
Oh, that were
school
like
where
the it crowd.
more the it crowd, yes, but just like they were like the higher society, almost the higher snooty, even for your
Oh, I get what
area.
you're saying.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
calling people
But
out for wearing cheap knockoff, blah blah blah, like
that didn't
those
really start happening until like fifth grade. Like,
until fifth grade. Huh, that's still early. Okay, carry on.
well, like I had gone through so much to get through fifth grade. Not like academically, but just like so much scenery has changed.
Life.
So many people.
Uh huh.
So like fifth grade is like when I noticed like there started to be like a hierarchy and like labels mattered. I remember like I got like an Adidas tracksuit and it was it was like it just had Adidas on it, and
Uh
then on the
huh.
pants it had Adidas, and like
I know
showed
the
up to
style.
school, and I was like, yeah. And then everybody was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Like now we'll start taking you seriously. But it was like, all right, well, what do I wear tomorrow? I don't have two Adidas tracksuits.
That's it. That's the one right there. You showed up on that first day, oh, what's his name? Little Mister. You know who I'm talking about. I don't know the name. Why am I blanking on? Was it Christian?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, Christian. You showed up on that first day like Christian, coming back to school. Just hiya toots. Just the full nine.
No, it wasn't even like a first day of school. I think it was like I came back like from
Well,
spring break.
yes. That first day with
Mm-hmm.
the gigs, you
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, this is it. We're in the fields." But
Like,
then
oh yes, we did things. We came back with spoils.
day two rolls around and it's just like, "Oh, it's Old Navy or it's Old Navy."
Uh-huh. But
Yeah.
why was it Old Navy though? Uh-huh. But yeah, it was very that, but as for like the rich kids, I don't know. I never went to like I went to actually I lie. There were rich kids, and I would say it probably was from like my eighth grade to my sophomore year was like the chunk I followed that group, so maybe I noticed it more.
Mm-hmm.
But it was there was like this neighborhood, like you know how like people are like, "Ooh, we go to this neighborhood on Halloween because they give out the full candy bars."
Oh, I knew the neighborhoods.
Like it was the kids that lived in those neighborhoods. I even went to school with like my first high school, like one of them was like a baseball player's son, I think, or something. The
Okay.
same was like, yeah, so yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
that was like the closest to it, but it wasn't like fashions or anything, but they definitely had the cars. That's like where the money
mm,
showed.
the
And they
cars.
were like 16 with the car.
Oh, of course. First car, can't drive it.
Plus they were like a little older than me because my birthday is like in the summer. So it's like when you're in the back half of the year, you're always younger than like the kids who are like at the front half or like came into school late or whatever.
You kind of just feel like the runt in those years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
have no
yeah.
choice. Yeah.
Very much. And so like I was not that I had a car, but like these kids were like, "Oh, it's lunch, let's go." And that's when everybody had the keys on the lanyard. So they're just swinging that lanyard
Get in,
around. They're
bitch.
like,
We're
"Where are we
going
going to go for
shopping.
lunch? Where do you want
Uh
to go for
huh.
lunch? Where are we going to
Exactly.
go?" Like you only have a half hour. Like it's not that serious.
You probably have one option, Mary. Calm down. To get there and get back, please. We've talked about that though, because I surely did when we had those times. If I could, when I had my little car, beep beep around town in the middle of the day, yes, I would. Oh, thank
Mitch.
you. Going on a little adventure. So, was there anyone that we're gonna touch on this still dynamic? Did you do you know if you had someone come in either kind of like that change for you, where maybe it was over the summer, or maybe they transferred to the school, where suddenly there was just like this new hot bitch on the scene?
That was me. I
Hi,
was the
thank
hot
you.
bitch.
She said,
Not always
present,
hot, but definitely like showing up and like, "Oh, who's this? Oh,
showing
what's
up,
this?"
taking advantage of that mystery.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to, but then like I don't know, like again, I miss serious on Monday, and then what happens Tuesday? Like I drop the guard. Like it's too much to like keep up. Or like I get comfortable and people are like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
This weirdo. Let's get out of here.
Huh.
Yeah. That's why I just started with the weird kids. I didn't care about it. I would sit with
But
the skater
you were
crowd.
like in one place for one time, right? Or
Oh
like
yeah.
long enough to like be the Cher to
Oh,
like
to know to do
or
the
like be the person
introductions.
who's like already established to be intercepting somebody new.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
I was always the new person.
Yeah, no, we could we had the stability, we knew the people. We basically were I was in the same town. I grew up in the same town, same city from birth to 18, And then we stayed in nearby areas for at least another year and a half. And then we were like, peace out. Moved out of state. And then we did the things. And then we ended up over here. And so, that was our period. But little baby me, nah. But we've talked about that. I did. I went to the same school with people from kindergarten, pre-K, all the way up to high school. Would have graduated together. Uh-huh.
Could never, didn't, but
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm.
So very different experiences. We had in Georgia, in the suburbs of Georgia, where I would dwell from. We're going to put it nicely. We had those people, but there's only a certain level of high society in the area. It isn't.
Atlanta, you mean?
Oh, no, not even in hot Atlanta. If we were in Atlanta, different story. But out in the skirts, out in the sticks, way out in the wares where I was at, that just meant any kind of high society meant you had Uggs. You had
Not the
Uggs.
Uggs.
You had Uggs and a Carhartt jacket. That was our high society. So you put two and two together. But they surely thought they were the hottest shit that ever walked the face of the earth. Let me tell you that. They were Cher Horowitz. Through and through. Not on my tea.
Mm-mm.
Not to me. Not to me and my sis.
But so yeah, well, like I said, watching this back this time, I don't really feel that Cher and Dionne are really like more than skin deep
No.
because like even throughout the movie, like when they're at the house party and Dionne's having her breakdown over Murray shaving his head, like she's in her own little world, and even like Cher's like, all right, like let's just leave her. Or like even when Cher's having her problems, like where where is Dionne? Like the second half of the movie.
Literally that part. The entire. But also, like, it's like a weird thing because we do see. She hears the scream. She goes running. The phone rings. They pick it up immediately. The pager comes in. Oh, but it might be Dionne. I need to check it. They're there. And I think it. As a lot of that high school pressure, like you need at least that one person to be like, buddy, like we got this.
Oh,
Like,
it's survival of the fittest, and it's a numbers game.
yes. And so that is their pairing, and then they're bringing Ty into this situation. But I think it's more of that, like, it's looking out for themselves because if that blood curling screen was because something happened to Dionne, not because Murray was shaving his head, well, now Cher's all alone. She's all by herself. Now she's got to find her new buddy, and she's working on Ty, but Ty's not ready yet. She's not there. She doesn't have the stamina, the social status. So, yeah, it is still it's all kind of a very selfish view, but it's also like, you call, I'm there. But I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to let me know what's going on. And if I'm not interested, catch me up later. Like, it is a very interesting dynamic.
And then like it's Dionne, it's kind of like the same dynamic in like To Wong Fu, where like
Ooh.
Noxzema is very like that's your problem, that's your pet, like talking about like John Leguizamo.
Yep.
So like she very makes it known like Ty, like that's your thing, girl. Like she even gets those looks like
Like, what are we
you're
doing?
the
What's
third wheel
going on
right now.
here? Oh, yeah. And
But even though I feel like Ty is like a better friend or willing to be a better friend to get messy and go deep than 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 D will ever be.
because she doesn't come from the high society status of it needs to stay topical. First off, I think you guys are the first straight friends I've ever had.
Hmm.
Go off. She's an ally.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Ty
yeah,
is an
yeah, yeah.
ally, and we see it. She is letting that be known. But that
But
just
also,
she loved the drama. She loves the backstory. She likes the connection. That's who
like
we
even when
are.
they're out at lunch and she goes, "All right, survey says," like she's the one leading that kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They Cher and Dion weren't talking about sex or anything of the sort leading up to it. Like they weren't in the car on the way to school being like, "Girl,"
She's trying to make the connection and
'cause she
find the
was a
tea.
virgin.
She wants to know. She needs to learn.
Hmm.
Yeah. But she really did. You want to talk about a glow up, Miss Ty.
They washed the Kool-Aid out of that hair so quick, and everything changed.
I wanted to. So was it just temporary? Was it a hairspray?
Oh,
Because I have been red. We've seen those days.
just murder in the bathtub.
She ain't coming out like that. Let me tell you that with a quickness. That ain't happening. No, you saw the process. That took months. And they said, oh, just a little warm water will do.
Hmm.
All right, Hollywood.
Well, if it's not professionally done, like obviously mine isn't professionally done, and like the color still like goes with the water, not as heavily as like when I first wash it. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'll put the blue in, and then like obviously when I rinse the dye out, all the blues come in and go in. It looks like fucking Gargamel finally won when I'm
Ooh,
dyeing this hair.
ooh,
Okay.
ooh, you meant
But
that.
after that, like the next day, it'll come out like half that blue, but like it's still going. It's not bleeding onto my pillowcase or anything, but like when it gets wet,
Oh,
and
we were
then
doing
it's
the
just less and
pillowcase for a
less.
solid week or more. Oh yeah,
So
that
like
red
if
don't
she had
fuck
just
around.
done it, maybe that's the case or something, but
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
I don't know.
But
Just trying to help Ty out.
that's all anybody wants to do.
Apparently, that's all she wanted to do. Share.
Full damsel in distress.
Also, too, can we go back to like they used to be superstars? Cher and Dionne Warwick. Cher is still kicking, thank you.
Oh, thank
Like
you.
but it's also crazy for them at that time, 95, to be like of the past, like quote unquote.
I'll give it to them for Cher how long since she has started,
Hmm.
but you act like she has stopped. Or
Right.
was this after? Was this when was the farewell tour?
Which one?
Exactly.
Hmm.
So maybe they thought,
Maybe it
oh,
was
she's
like
done.
a lull. Remember RuPaul had that lull in like the late 90s, early
Well,
2000s?
that's basically what Miss Dion did, and she's
So
recent in
maybe
past couple years has been like, "Hey, world, how you doing?"
yeah, after the psychic thing didn't pan out the way she thought, like maybe.
Well, not every idea is a winner, you know.
Hmm.
Do we think Cher's idea to take on Ty was a winner?
Um, I don't know if you'd call it a winner because to be a winner means you have to cross a finish line. I don't think
Mm.
she had any intention of where that line was going to be when she picked up Ty. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, I
there was
do.
no end goal when she was like, "Ooh, project." It was just the project. But what's the project for? Is you trying to find her a date? Are you trying to just make her an overall better person? Are you doing this for yourself? Like, what's the end goal? And
The answer
that
is
was
just
not a
yes.
goal because
Yeah.
there was kind of like each of those things, but it was what direction?
It was a little bit to help Ty. It was a lot of bit to help Cher. It was to get her a guy to keep her distracted and just like settle like the energy. It was a lot of things.
And on top of it, like Ty didn't ask for any of this.
She was fine and satisfied. And then what do we see? Spoilers ahead by the end of the film. We're finding a really nice balance between
Mhm.
OG Ty and Cher Ty. And like I feel like the best of both worlds. But like again, it's just like you were saying, by day two, you know, you get tired out or just like you don't have the fit. So whatever, you just gotta be the authentic you. And maybe you can
Mhm.
elevate that a little bit, but that is we're a little early to have this conversation, but that is a little lesson in this film is the authenticity side of things, I feel. And that just takes you so far in so many
Well,
ways.
also too, you kind of see like how much Cher has been performing for everybody else up until that point. Because like when she starts doing like the charity and this and that, like obviously that came within because she continued to do it. She's not doing it like to look good or to get the brownie points or to
It
impress
was a little
anybody. She's
bit
doing
for
it for
that
herself.
though. Because she was for the boy, a little bit. There was a little bit of
Hmm.
that. But I do think it was out of pure like we see her start to being like, oh, we need to do more.
Well, like she even starts to like dress more demure.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And again, I'm sorry, 16? 16. First off, we're supposed to believe that she is 16. Not to say that she's not young looking, but Hollywood's really taking some stretches with some of these roles. Let me tell you
She just had the
that.
fashions, mama.
But then the way that the dressings in the cars and the whole, good for you. Good for
Hmm.
you. Love that for you, gal.
But also to like feel that grown up at 16, and also to this was one of those watching it young being like this is what we have to look forward to in high school. Like the stress was on.
The way she was the parent of, all right, like there's that whole thing about, you know, at some point in your life, the child becomes the parent and the tables turns, whatever. Not at 16. Why am I having to remind my father to drink his orange juice? Are you kidding me? That you need to go visit a doctor, that you need to go visit this person or that person, you need to do that. Not my responsibility. I'm supposed to be out here
Hmm.
shopping and hanging out with Dee and Ty and the boys and having a good time and staying out till 3 a.m. Not
Well, like
this.
even as time goes on, I feel like she even does like less and less of that. Because
Oh,
like,
for
don't they
sure.
have like that montage and like Dionne calls and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm busy" or something, and then like she hangs up. Like it wasn't like a
Yep.
2 hour long phone call or something.
But was it ever? Again,
I don't
surface, get to
know.
the point. Let's,
But even still, it was like 2 seconds. But
yeah.
like, do you think Cher's perspective changed about like like her perspective on friendship? Do you think that changed over time as like she started to show herself?
I think we start to see a little bit of that because she mentions in that roundabout way of basically that she's lonely to a degree. Like she
Hmm.
wants a boyfriend, she wants some kind of companion, but also I think she had started realizing a bit of how surface her relationships were, especially like so far with Ty and then maybe with Dionne. And so by the end montage, when we see them at the wedding, maybe some of those walls and those boundaries have been started to be broken down a little. And now they're on
Hmm.
like new levels and starting to connect more and actually appreciate things more. And like, it's a different thing. So I do think so. Like, I, character arc with Cher is strong and interesting, considering that the whole movie is about her and also not about her at all. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's about like the entire friend group and everything.
it's about Ty more than anything half the time,
Mm.
which good for her. She deserves that secondhand starring role. Uh, but no, I do. I really think Cher and Ty are the only people we really see like growth and change with.
Oh
Everyone
yeah,
else just kind of
because like
helps
who else
lead
is there
that
that you see?
path.
Like even Dion and Amber, let's say. Like I feel
Amber,
Cher knows both of them equally as well. She just chooses to be nice to one and she chooses to be a bitch to the other. Like,
because
but
what is a
she knows them
knockoff?
just as long, just as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's about the high society.
she's just as familiar with both of them, but it's just like, all right, I'm nice to this one. All right, I don't like this one.
And it is interesting in that sense that she decides to kind of take on this nobody newbie kid to school, knowing like you can see she could tell by looking at her and her interactions and talking where she may have fallen on her like the social scale at her previous environment or whatever. Like she was not pristine, clean. She wasn't showing up like Christian was showing up. She was a little rough around the edges. So it was an interesting thing and like again taking it back to like why did you decide to take on this project isn't like putting it as a project but is that when we first start seeing this little bit of little something with this very selfish girl, um this self-centered person. I don't, she has a weird like it's all committed to herself but she's so dedicated to whatever she's doing because it's
Hmm.
helping herself. So like even a big part of this is Cher's matchmaking abilities outside of just Ty and that being a part of her whole makeover. But she uses this to her advantage for raising her grades.
Hmm.
Good for you, gal. That's a strong one. Never thought it wouldn't have been me debating my grades. Okay. Matchmaking, was it ever, have you ever been match made or have you ever played matchmaker?
I don't like to play matchmaker, and
Agree.
I don't think I've ever been match made aside from like, oh, you should meet so and so. And then I think maybe it's happened like once or twice, but it's never been like, all right, so at 7 o'clock, you're gonna meet this person and they're gonna be wearing a blue
Oh,
shirt.
don't
Like
like
that's
that
never
at all.
happened.
Don't like that at
Never,
all.
never would I even like entertain that.
Even today, 20 years ago, I don't care. 20 years might be a little bit. I don't, I need, I need to see you. I need to see
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
face. I need to know that it is a mutual thing that we are feeling here or could be feeling. I just want to feel
Hmm.
safe in that regard. I have fully had friends be like, "Oh, I've got I have a friend. I have a gay friend. You guys should meet." That whole thing. I don't think I've ever played matchmaker. I don't want to play matchmaker. I agree. That's not my business. Let nature run
I
its
need
course.
I need to have like a little bit of a crush for it to like even have interest in them.
Natural
And
chemistry. Yeah,
like it's not even like I don't have to like be like crushing after them for so long. It could be like instant crush and then be like 2 seconds later talking to the person. You know what I mean?
sure.
Like it's
Yeah.
but there has to be something.
The way
Sometimes
I
when
see
you
people out in the wild, and I would be like, oh, if I could get your attention right now and we could chat for 5 minutes, let me tell you, my life would be a very different place. Because you are beautiful, sweetie. Let me tell you. I like a beautiful person. I'll catch a crush in a second. I'll catch a crush in a
the fucking
second.
the Shark Tank chairs come up. You're like, and you go, well, sharks
What am I selling the
yourself.
potential may
Uh-huh.
to the panel of people
The sharks.
that have my
Uh-huh.
interest. Oh, okay. It really
Uh-huh.
do feel like that sometimes. It
They
really feels
go,
like
I
to
well
violent out.
invest.
Are we asking?
Bitch.
Are we asking for financial investment from these sharks? That's a whole different topic. We could talk about that later. We don't need the sharks right now. You don't need the sharks. So Cher's a matchmaker. We see her doing this entire with everybody from the start. The first 5 seconds of the movie, she is trying to play matchmaker with Dionne, telling her she don't need this man. She could do so much better. Why is she with this high school dude? Blah
I
blah
think she hooked her
blah.
parents up. She's that much of a matchmaker.
Predestined. It was predestined to happen, and that's why. And then the new Supreme, there she was. She was giving birth, and she said, "All right, I'm here. It's time." So Mama had to go.
She said, pass me my Alaya. My
Oh,
what?
excuse me.
My,
What'd you call me?
a holiday who be woulda? Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Oh. I don't remember what I was saying at that point. Please carry on. Circle us
Um,
back around.
but like,
Oh, matchmaking her parents. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm,
That's a lot. Robin.
Robin, Robin.
But she did. She's trying to matchmake Dionne. She matchmakes the teachers.
Mhm.
I had some teachers. It felt so interesting. I had teachers that were dating and then got married while I was in their class. And I don't know why, but I think it's that thing is like as a student, you just don't realize your teachers have lives. And like you think they live in the closet, like not actually, but like as a
Oh, they're
child.
like cuckoo clocks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they don't leave the school, they don't do anything outside of here. They're not a human, like whatever. So like to know
They
that
power down.
there was like my English teacher and then a teacher for the grade above me down the hall were like cute and dating and living together, and then over the summer they get married, and then by the end of the school year she's pregnant. I'm like, why do I need to know any of this? How did I find out any of this? Unnecessary. Good for
Look at
you
people
that.
having lives. Look at like what school did you go to? Degrassi?
Yes, in Georgia. Georgia Degrassi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Degrassi, Georgia.
Degrassi, Georgia. Degrassi, Georgia.
Healing all the way from Degrassi, Georgia.
Good for her though, because that her husband, he surely was cute. He was. You would have appreciated him.
I think
You would have
he's
been all
great.
up in that gig. He was a cute little like. I don't think he wore a bow tie, but he was like a bow tie, cute, nerdy, like clean cut. Like he
Think
was.
he
He was
is.
a cutie.
You have to have an edge if you're gonna do the bow tie.
You do. He didn't have the edge. I don't
Like
think he
there
actually wore
there
the bow
has to
tie.
be like, oh, this is like here's the
What is?
sarcophagus that should never be unearthed, and you put like a potted flower over it to be like, nobody will ever know.
What is this? You
That's what
said.
you need to be doing if you're wearing a bow tie.
I get. Okay. I. Eh? It needs something. Like I at this point, just unless you're a vampire, don't even try it. You know, it's just not even. It's not. It's not in the stars for you, sweetie. I'm sorry.
My blah blah bow tie.
Okay. All
Uh-huh.
right.
But I had two teachers that were already married by the time I showed up, so I didn't get the satisfaction of
You like the
following the
story.
storyline.
Uh huh. The backstory.
But since they were already married, every Halloween they would wear matching couples costumes.
Okay,
Like,
but I love.
I'm the pencil,
You
I'm the
better.
paper. and like it would still be school themed and appropriate and everything. But the real gag of it was they lived in like a cul-de-sac, and the only reason why I know that it was because it was 2 streets over from where I lived. Now I had no business being over in that cul-de-sac, so I didn't know about their happenings and trappings, but they knew
Whoa.
all about me and what was happening in my front yard because they had to drive past my house to get down to the main road from their cul-de-sac. So they were like, hi, and I had no control over this.
So they're just stopping by on their way
Oh
out?
no,
Not
but they
stopping
would be
by, but
like,
they fully
"Oh, I
just
noticed this," or like,
creeping.
"Oh, hey, like I saw your dad outside," or like weird shit. And I couldn't return the favor because again, I would be going out of my way to be like, saw you need to mow the lawn."
Why? Right. What's the point? Oh, saw your dad outside. Okay. He does
Mm.
that. He goes outside. That means
Do
you were
people not
outside.
breathe?
I mean, like, what are we doing here? What is this small talk? Get over it. I don't need the small
Um,
talk with my
it
teachers.
was very that. So, I didn't go to Gracie, Georgia.
I mean, I'm not saying I had strong relationships with these teachers. That definitely didn't happen until later in high school, and it was really just the good ones, the
Do
theater
you
teacher.
think though, because she has had like such superficial relationships, that she should take it upon herself to match people up because
No.
she doesn't feel the connections need to be very deep to have a relationship with that person? You know what I mean? Like,
I
oh, I know this person likes, I don't know. Like this person likes to teach and this person likes to teach. They should be compatible, right? Because they like teaching. But it doesn't go deeper than that because it's like, all right, well, is she a morning person? Is he a night owl? Like she doesn't think about that stuff because those aren't things that conflict
Well, she's
with what she
16.
does.
Uh-huh. But it's like it's also weird because when she's matchmaking with the teachers, I don't remember like the note that's written like is this whole romantic, poem about how he loves her or like adores her, whatever. So like she knows it has to go a little deeper and
Hmm.
it has to be a certain something. And so she's just relying. She said, "Oh, you guys are just weird and awkward teachers and like I just need you to give me a better grade. So like kiss." Like I don't the rest is
Hmm.
history. She had no expectation they were going to get married. In her little fantasy, sure, would have loved it. But it's very that. She has no right to be doing what she's doing. Trying to pair people up. Are you kidding?
I mean, she's literally
On
like
what
altering
basis?
lives.
And I can't, and it's not her fault, and I'm not saying this in any regard, but like, she, even without the high status or the, whatever situation she's growing up in, she has a different family dynamic. She doesn't have an example of what that looks like, whether it
Hmm.
would have been a typical high society, like, crazy relationship or whether it would have been like a good parenthood, whatever. She just doesn't have that. You don't know what these relationships look like. You're playing mother to yourself and to your dad, and then you're sleeping with your ex brother. I ain't mad at it.
Stepbrother.
There's no
Hmm.
blood. There's no blood. It's fine. You do you out, and he surely was cute. But like, you have no right, no business. What are we doing at
Uh-huh.
16?
But that's what I'm saying. Like she feels that she can. I don't. I guess because I watch I Love Lucy so much, like she feels she can meddle. I like meddle is the only word that's coming to
She
mind. But like
meddle,
she feels she can
manipulate.
meddle in these people's lives
Yeah,
because it's she feels like, oh, it's just topical, it's not a big deal. But in reality,
and it's generally
it
to the
is a big
advantage of
deal.
herself. So she doesn't care
Hmm.
about the fallout. She doesn't care what happens. She got that
Hmm.
C to a B. She said, "Thank you so much.
So much.
You could never
See
talk
ya,
again."
never, because I'm graduating.
Uh huh. Doesn't matter to me. You guys fight for the every day for the rest of your life. Oops, sorry, you shouldn't have got married. When you
Hmm.
did, mm-mm, mm-mm. Running up my light bill. That's all you're doing.
All of it.
Running up my light bill. Do we? So we talk about her kind of like actually maybe starting to recognize some of that depth and that importance in these relationships. She's gone off with Josh. Where do we see like do we like to imagine that she's actually growing into some form of intellectual woman? Because for one, I love her correcting Josh's little gal pal in the car.
Oh,
Mm,
with Macbeth.
yeah, I remember Mel Gibson very well, and he didn't say that.
Well, I don't think all of a sudden overnight she's intellectual,
Oh, of
but I feel
course.
like she has like the passion or the hunger or wanting to learn, but it has to be on her terms. Like like the people who can't do math, but then you're like, all right, well, you got $6 and you take away two. Like you start talking about money and you're like, oh, okay, now it clicks.
Uh-huh.
Or
Yep.
like the people who can't do the percentages, but you're like, all right, well, you're out shopping and it's a 50% off sale. Like, what do you do? Or like, it's 30% off. How do you find the total? And you're like, oh, well, I just do this. Well, you're doing math,
You got to find the
but like,
language,
you
the
have to like put
spoon.
it in the terms.
Uh-huh. What is
Hmm.
the method of delivery here?
And that is why I feel that
And you know who she's
it's,
giving at that regard. It's Miss Elle
mhm,
Woods and her giving it has to be in the world that she knows. She can apply the information to the
mhm,
fashion, to media, to entertainment. She gets her point across, and at the end of the day, she'll get the job done.
mhm.
But it's gonna be a very roundabout way of getting
But
there.
it's also not like, what's the word? Not conventional, but like it's
Yeah,
not the way that like everybody else does it.
yeah. It's a little
Hmm.
non-conventional. Yeah, that's a fair way. I do. It is. I feel like it is in her, and then like, of course, with her father, his lawyer craziness, whatever, debating. Like, I fully get it. Just like kind of being in her blood. Like, if you grow up that in your environment, and you're basically having to debate having orange juice every single morning, you're gonna pick up on some things.
Hmm.
So I think it is there, and if she really kind of like it is said, like you just apply yourself a little more and actually focus and pay attention, and like we see when she wants to get something done, it's happening.
Hmm.
What are the chances you shut up, before you get what you want? Slim to none. All right, let's go. So she's got it. She's in it. I think this is a preface to Legally Blonde. This is the story I'm gonna start spinning. This is Elle Woods in high school, and then we see her pick up in college where she says, "All right, let's get shit done now. We're doing
She
it.
said, "I'm tired of hot tubbing."
We need to take a break. We're just gonna change it up."
Hmm.
Yeah, everything is pink now. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Well, I was gonna say like even like not even comparing like the pink and like the all of this like the fuzzy pink pen and like all the girliness and everything. She reminds me a lot of like Paris Hilton.
Oh yes, of course.
So just like I don't even want to compare like, oh well, they have like the same kind of closet or like the same kind of lifestyle or whatever, but like the same kind of like um
Approach, personality.
I don't want to say like personality, but like the same kind of values maybe. Like she does
Sure.
want to give back. She does want to help people. She does want to see people happy. So,
I see her eventually using her popularity for more good. I think
mm-hmm.
this story that we get to see her with is her realizing how it can be used for bad
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and for selfish reasons, which aren't always going to turn out that great. But you take
Mm.
that same power and you use it for different purpose, and suddenly we got magic. Shit's happening. We love it.
Now, do you think she learned anything from these friendships?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
do you, because she did get a change. Do you think the change is because she's like picking up on what her friends are doing and she's kind of learning from that? Like, where are these lessons coming from?
In order of where they're coming from, I'm saying it's Josh and then Ty. And then everyone else. I don't even think Dionne is really like she's just she's a side she's there to witness. She's the NPC. She's there to support. She's gonna
Hmm.
pick up if you call her
She's just her and Murray are just fucking. Because
constantly
literally, like
in
they
the
have the
car on
scene
the
in the
side of the
car, and they were
highway,
like, she lost her virginity after that, like, and you never see her again because she's just busted open.
shitting on these walls. Uh
Uh-huh.
huh. Pissing everywhere. Yeah. So I think it was Josh mainly, and for understandable reasons. Let's look at him and what he got going on. It was a lot of his motivation, and then I think it was a lot more during the almost fallout of her and Ty. Classic, iconic line. You're a virgin who can't drive. It was almost like a wake up call
Well,
of
I also
like,
think at that point too, like Ty was kind of turning into like what Katie turned into in Mean Girls. So
100%.
like I
Yes.
don't think Ty in the beginning of like the makeover would have said that to Cher because she was already like on her high horse. And like I think Cher even realized it when she was like, all right, well, I'm outie.
She
I think,
created the monster.
and then yeah, because that was very Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls.
100%.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yes, it was. And that's how we see. I don't even know that we've mentioned it yet. Not that these are direct spin-offs of, but this isn't even the origin story. The way that this idea, this story of like Cher, this teenage girl, this like
Oh
high
yeah, yeah,
class, high
yeah.
society, that comes, of course, like everything else, comes from a book that may have come
Emma.
from another book. Emma by Miss Jane
Emma.
Austen. Glory's glamorous, but like that could have come from other stories. Like, and then it just carries on. We see it in Mean Girls. We see it in.
Grease.
Thank you. We don't even have time. We don't have time. The list is
Yeah,
gonna go
like
on.
you want to keep talking about the makeover stories. All right, you want to talk about makeover stories?
Well, we've said before, Mr. Tucci loves a makeover. So here's for you, Tucci. Here's your makeover. You weren't involved, but you
All
could.
the makeover. Captain America got a makeover.
That's the question.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
Thank
you
you so
so much.
much.
Thank you.
Um,
How would
Andy got the
this?
makeover. What?
Speaking of one, Mr. Tucci, how would this makeover had come out differently if we had had the involvement of one Mr. Stanley Tucci in whatever role he's
Hmm.
playing in this universe?
I think he would have like dressed her really well, like gave her an outfit for not just Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and said, "You're kind of up to yourself for like Friday and the weekend, girl. I gave you
Mix and
enough clothes."
match. Uh huh.
Um, I think he would do that, and then he would like give her a few words of wisdom, maybe like a couple dinners worth of like etiquette lessons, and then
Okay.
kind of just like let her do what she does, and not like a full transformation of like he would not have created that beast of like you're just a virgin who can't drive. Like he would not.
It was class. It would have been class. It would have been tact. It would have been respect.
It would
And,
have left you wanting more,
but he would have left you
honestly.
with the resources to answer that more. He would have
Hmm.
said, "Here's your curly hair routine because you need a gal." She would have said, "Here's some books you can read. Here's your summer
Yeah.
reading list." Yeah, yeah.
He'll be like you ask him a question and he will like take you down to the library, get you signed up for a card,
Uh huh.
like
Make sure
give
you
you a
understand the Dewey
give you a
Decimal
breakdown of the
System.
Dewey Decimal
Thank
System.
you. Thank you so much. Yes.
Uh-huh. And then like maybe show you a couple sections, give you a couple highlights,
His
show
recommended
you his book,
sections.
of course, on the way out. But then like now you got to figure out your how to answer your question you just asked him.
Good luck, Al.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Tucci, again, Ultimate Tucci. It's going to be done right. And we see the closest he's probably come to creating a monster would be Andy. And even she said, no, no,
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
this is
yeah.
not who we want to be. It's not what we want to do.
Huh.
Good for Tucci. We love that about Tucci. Looking out for the best. Hmm. This monster, though, I think that was the wake up call for Cher. A big one. She was already on that verge. She was teetering. She was having that bad day. And she was like, what is going on? I'm wrong about everything. Everything is going to shit, basically. Like, nothing is working out. And then she realizes that she's the problem.
Common denominator.
Ooh. I found my common denominator moments in life, and that's not a fun wake up call, let me tell you. To realize that
You
you
did.
really are being your own worst enemy, your own inner saboteur has fully, you have succumbed entirely. Succumb to the power that
Come
is.
to me. Show me who you are,
She's not fun, gal.
baby.
But she will wake you right up. It's a
Hmm.
splash of cold water to the face and says, get it together. And she did. Thank God.
Hmm.
Thank God.
So then she eventually does come around and she ends up macking it with more, macking more with her stepbrother.
Mm. Oh,
And
Joshi.
then the teachers get married and everybody just kind of just is who well also let's back up a little bit. Ty also like snap out of it
Uh huh.
and kind of like becomes her own woman within like some parameters that she was taught.
She finds this nice little happy medium.
She makes it her own,
Yes. She
and
gets her
then
man.
that's about it.
Ty gets
that's
her
that's the cute
man.
little wrap up.
It is good. It is. She's
Was it a
solid.
season, a reason, or a lifetime for these Tucci's? I'm gonna answer first, and I'm gonna say this is um probably a reason. And I say that because it's a high school friend
Mm-hmm.
and a lifetime. I don't want to say it's impossible, but the probability of staying friends with your high school friends for a lifetime is very slim, at least for me and for what I've seen.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I can imagine it only being a reason because a lot of my friends that I had in high school, like I still consider them friends and like speak highly of them and fondly remember our adventures. And like if they called, I'd probably like to hang out. But like once we hung out, I'd be like, okay, we'll just stick to talking. Like,
No,
you know
it's
what I mean? Like it
fine.
wouldn't be like
Yeah.
this.
I think it is. I think that's what it is with. Like, it started out. Okay, we got to break it down a little bit more. So with Cher and Dionne, it's exactly that. This is, if anything, maybe this is seasonal. This might. The reason is high school, and that's it. High school's over. That might be the end of that. But with Ty, I don't know. Cher and Ty, if it is anything beyond the reason, maybe it breaches the seasonal, but it's on Ty because again, she's the one that likes and understands the connection. She wants to push and have the friendship, and she's used to that. That's what she wants. So I could see her being the tether that kind of hold her. She and Dionne were never that close. They were not going to be that
Oh yeah,
close.
yeah,
That
yeah.
wasn't happening. So Dionne is going to go off with Murray, and they're just going to keep fucking and doing their own thing, and that's just going to be that. Cher and Ty, it might be a seasonal thing. Maybe every once in a while they'll stay connected. Ty will reach out. Something will happen, and Cher will just be like, "Hope you're well," and like blah
Hmm.
blah blah. But hard to really say. Again, I don't have that relationship. I have that very rare, connection with someone from the past where it's good and fair ground and common and it's fine. That's that though. That's all she wrote. So I don't know. I think there's opportunity, but if it happens, it's because of Ty. She
Hmm.
really holds that together. She is the glue.
I could see it being like just because they're getting older doesn't mean like Ty didn't come from a different background just because she's dressing better.
Oh
So
sure.
like as they're getting older, like I could feel like their lifestyles maybe splintering them apart. Like Ty goes off and has her kids, like with or she has a family or whatever. Like even like just pet sitting. Like
Oh,
if you got
I see
dogs, you
that.
got to find a pet sitter if you want to do something. And
Uh
I
huh.
can see like Cher having help and like oh the nanny and like oh Ty like oh don't you want to fly and let's go on vacation here and Ty's like I don't got fly vacation time money like none of that so like I can see maybe that happening.
A little bit. I can see that. Or she gets
Mm.
called in. So, oh, you can't go. Do you want to watch the dogs then?
Oh right. Uh-huh.
She gets put to work. It's still
Right.
Cher's still gonna be Cher. It's still gonna happen. So
Oh,
then, of course, and I already this is easy. This is probably the easiest one yet. Who will play her? Who is
who
who
will
in this
play her?
situation?
I think you would be Cher and I would be Ty.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on this thought.
Just because I feel like I'm always the new bitch and
Okay.
I don't know and then I don't feel like you're like trying to like hook people up because like you've never done that obviously with me and like
Well, since I've known you, you've been hooked up. So,
well no I mean like I've never seen that like you've never been like oh like you've never had friends to put in that situation well you've never had
oh, so
friends
she's just a lonely bitch. She's got no
yeah uh-huh
friends. Okay.
uh-huh
Right, right, right.
so well like you've never put your friends in that situation I
No,
should say
no.
and like uh knowing all of your stories like you've been in situations like coming from a nightclub where there could be crossover of lots of people and that never happened. So I just feel like you wouldn't put somebody in that. I just would say you're Cher because of like the glamour that I know of you, like the fashions and things. Like
Okay.
Cher had her closet when I met you. You had your drag room.
T.
So that's how I feel.
Okay.
Like even though she was like still donating and things, like towards the end, like doing her philanthropy, she
Hmm.
still had like her looks. Like she was still
She was
turning the
turning.
looks. They
Right,
weren't
right,
as
right.
extreme as like the yellow plaid or
But she was cute and together. Yeah, yeah.
or like the knee highs, but like she still was she had her work drag on.
She was sharing about, as
Mhm.
a share does, of course. I'm gonna flip it and reverse it. I'm gonna spin this train right around because I see the exact opposite for us both here. Dionne is just not even in this picture. Sorry, girl. You just didn't make the cut today.
It's the hat. Like,
Choices. Choices. And really, and I look at it like I fully get your perspective being the new girl and blah, blah, blah. Just as like the attitude, the personality, how you see things. Like, yes, now as an adult, I'm a little bit more like maybe well spoken and like antiquated in some ways and whatever. But Ty had to grow and get there. And seeing where Ty comes from, the type of people that she was into, the type of things that she was enjoying in comparison to these higher class people that will say, girl cannot relate at all to Miss Cher Horowitz. In some ways, it's like the dream fantasy. Maybe at some point I was like, oh, to be, but could not relate.
mm-hmm.
Whereas I do see some of your modern day traits and personalities. Not that you're like this selfish, like, you know, like teenage moody, whatever. But you're a little like craftsy with the way that you do things, and you look out for you and yourses, and that includes yourses and those around you.
Well, like she wasn't.
And you like the pink and some of the
I feel like she was like a step ahead of everybody, no matter what she was doing.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Like she got the memo. She just didn't care about the memo.
Mm-hmm. Like the whole like photographing in front of the fountain, like it wasn't just a little teen photo shoot. It was to get the picture to give to Elton to start things and put him in motion.
Correct.
But like nobody knew that.
No.
They were just gathered for a photo.
You were just a little friend shoot, you know. This is what they do in the TV. So this is what we're doing. So there's always an ulterior motive. And I don't think you always have an ulterior motive, but you always have a mission.
Or I don't intend to have an ulterior motive.
All right. So she's in existence.
No, I'm not saying when it happens, but like when it does happen, I don't mean for it to happen all the time.
No, sure. Yeah.
But when it does happen, I go, well, that worked out nicely.
I thank you. Thank you so much for me.
I wish I was that smart.
But I'll take advantage of that. Thank you. Yeah. No, I see that. That's fair. Yeah. Well, I guess then we'll just fight over for Halloween, and we'll see who gets to be who. We'll flip a coin.
Well, I already have the bathing suit, so.
And?
The yellow tartan.
Where's the skirt? Where's the matching jacket? Where's the knee highs? Where's the blonde wig?
I don't want to go around here looking like Iggy with all this ass.
All right, well, on that note, I think we got it. I think we did. Right. Any final thoughts on this Tucciship, on Clueless, on just everything that is here?
I think that between the three of them, it's funny of how quickly Cher and Ty were able to bond together and spend time and stuff.
Yeah.
When Dionne had all of this opportunity and it never even got to like a fraction. At least we didn't see it.
I don't even know what time period this is supposed to take place. Like how long this is. Is it 1 year? Is it 6 months? Is it whatever? Whatever it is, we know.
I think it's the school year. It's like a Grease situation.
Sure. Okay. So in one school year, we assume that Cher and Dionne have been friends for years at this point.
Oh, at least through middle school to get through high school.
How in 1 year has she breached depth that Dionne don't even like fathom to exist? It is, again, good for Ty holding that ship together.
Mm-hmm. She said, "Oh, I'm going to show up. I'm going to ask all the questions about you.
We about to be acquainted today. You're going to know my birthstone, my favorite color, my everything. What my dirty socks smell like." Ugh.
Well, like even Cher, when she was like, "Well, we're going to skip school. We're going to go see the new Christian Slater and this and that," and it's like Dionne was having crises of her own, and Cher wasn't like, "You know what? Let's have a girls' day."
No, she's me and mine, sis. This is what I want to do today. Yeah. She's one of the ones. Clueless is a good old time. If you haven't seen her, you need to check her out because she does hold up. She's a staple.
I don't know about the series, Clueless, the series.
Well, we hadn't mentioned her yet for a reason, and I think we should maybe keep it that way.
Definitely the film.
The film goes off. She is strong. She's a good time gal. She will get you together. She will hold you together. We love. Even today, we love. And we have not talked about this. Is one of the ones we haven't even talked about the music in any way, shape, or form. Ska is the soundtrack to this movie. Let me tell you, that is all you need to know. Don't like ska music? So sorry. Check it out anyway. But it was the time
with like a word.
See, that's if you're watching us, then you'll love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening on your favorite podcatcher. And watching on YouTube if you're the visual person.
Oh, wow. And be sure to check out our Linktree to find out all of our links for extra content and even our link to our Discord community.
You can follow along with TikTok and Instagram at Good Tuccis for all of the goodness. And until next time, Tuccis, thanks so much for watching. Bye!